Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Scents of South Jersey for another fragrance review with me, Kellen. And today I wanted to do a review on a fragrance that a subscriber had suggested to me, actually two subscribers. First one was Ben Champion. He suggested this one to me about a couple months ago, and I had never heard of it before. And then another subscriber, and I apologize, I don't recall that gentleman's name, but he had suggested it more recently. It had come up in talks about fragrances that are, of course, classics, because that's what I like to do, but fragrances that are very mossy and green and piney. And so they suggested this fragrance, and I wanted to, again, thank them for introducing it to me, because I would have never heard of it. It is from 1978. It's by the House of Orlane, and it is a fragrance called Derrick. So we can take a look at it here. It's a pretty cool box, pretty cool bottle. And in my typical fashion, what we'll do is break down the fragrance by presentation. We'll talk about its notes. I'll talk about its performance on my skin. And then I'll give you my overall thoughts and my overall rating. So we'll talk about presentation first. So we'll take a look at the box here. Again, it's a black box. And in what looks like kind of a bronze or gold lettering, it says Derrick here. And then eau de toilette. It's a 100 ml bottle. On the top of the box, you don't really have much going on there. It's all black, shiny though. On the back, you have some company brand information, all very small lettering, and all in different languages, and nothing crazy. And then of course, you have the barcode there and some of the brand information, and more of that on the bottom. You do have a stamped in batch code for this fragrance too. And again, Derrick on the front. This is pretty much where most of the graphics are, and it does say Paris, and it's again 100 ml bottle. So we'll take a look at the bottle now. Probably one of the most interesting bottles I've seen in a while. Very of the era, very classic. If you take a look at it, and I've used it now, if I've had this for about a month, so you can see a little bit of the dent, but it's an interesting bottle. So the shape is cool. I think, it's all glass, it's transparent, you can see through. It says Derrick there going, vertically, and then horizontally you have eau de toilette. On the bottom, you have, actually some painted on lettering. I don't even add, that is a sticker. In fact, I apologize. There's a sticker with the batch code and some more of the brand information. On the top of the cap, it says Derrick there, as you can see. So the cap comes off, and it's hollow, but it's pretty thick. You can pick it up by the cap. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can, and it holds on pretty snug. And then the bottle's got this weird angle here. To me, what this looks like is almost like a World War II, Korea, or even Vietnam era fuel canister, a fuel tanker, because it's got this X that goes into the glass, and the same thing on the back there. I thought that was interesting too. The atomizer does have it's a black atomizer. It's metal here. The crimp isn't showing. It looks like this covers it a little bit. We'll take a look at the distribution. Very nice distribution. Is it a nice big spray here? I'm gonna spray some on myself. I wore it today as my scent of the day, so I have the dried out on one hand, and then we've got the opening here too. So, and the cap again will come back on here. So interesting look to this bottle here, Derrick, which I thought was pretty cool. The presentation is interesting. Unique, to say the least. The top notes, we have lavender, rosemary, tarragon, thyme, and in the middle, heart of the fragrance, you got pepper, nutmeg, caraway, patchouli, cedar and pine, geranium, and jasmine. And in the base, you got incense, labdanum, coumarin, and white musk. What I find most prevalent in the fragrance is in the opening, definitely the lavender, and the heart of the fragrance, the pepper, the nutmeg, and the patchouli. That really stand out to me. And then in the base, the incense, and then the white musk. Those are the notes that I think stand out the most. Again, maybe I just don't have the experience to pick out and pinpoint the other ones as much, but that, to me, in my opinion, I think is what sticks out when it comes to the note breakdown for Derrick. So the performance of this fragrance is absolutely amazing. It's a beast mode. It's excellent. I get 10 plus hours from this scent. Putting it on at 8 a.m. and well after work, it is still going strong. It's easily a 10-hour fragrance. It projects very strong for the first 3 to 4 hours. The sillage is incredible. Again, you're going to get a 3-hour mark there. Even the second phase of the fragrance, it's easily a 2 arms length distance, strong scent bubble, and only by hour 9.5, 10, maybe even 11 is it going to become a skin scent. So absolute awesome performance from this scent. And I don't even know what formulation this is. I didn't look it up. I didn't know when it was made. There's a couple different Derrick fragrances that are associated with this one, so I'm not sure 100% if this is original or vintage. I don't believe it's vintage. It's probably a newer formulation, but doesn't matter to me. I think it smells awesome. So my thoughts are, like I had just said, it's an awesome scent. It's very of the era, but at the same time, I think it's modern enough to where it's wearable now. It definitely is not dated. And I know I've said that about a lot of fragrance, but there are probably people that would disagree with me. I do not think this one is dated. The scent is very unique. It's very fresh and masculine, but at the same time, it's soapy, and that's where the freshness comes from, but it's spicy at the same time. Two fragrances that this reminds me of. In the dry down, in the heart of the fragrance, it really reminds me of Prada Black. Not Prada Luna Rosa Black, but Prada Black that came in that square bottle with the atomizer all the way to the left side or right side, depending on which way you're holding it. And then also, the dry down also subpoints remind me of You Balm, which is a very patchouli heavy fragrance. So, and both of those are beast mode performers. And I had Prada Black a long time ago, and I still have You Balm. But this really... Those are the two that it reminds me of, but it also stands on its own. I really, really like it. I actually expected from what people were telling me that it was going to be a little bit more of a mossy, kind of greener, soapier scent, but it's not. It's more of a spicy and sweet, but sweet in a way that it's masculine and not like bubblegum, polo blue mall scent sweet, which I can't stand. So this one really is an interesting scent, and I think you could definitely wear this at date night. You could wear it during the day. You could wear it in the evening. I think it's semi-formal. You probably could dress it up. If you're going to go to work and wear it, I would go easy on the sprays because of how strongly it performs. But this one smells good, and I could see it pulling compliments. I've gotten compliments on this fragrance. I really like it. The maximum sprays, I would say 3 to 4, maybe 2 of them being under your shirt, the 2 other 2 on your wrist, and then, just let it sit because it's going to go to work for you. Derrick by Orlane is probably one of the most interesting scents ever, but it's definitely a very, very spicy, soapy scent. I wish it was a little bit greener, but at the same time that, maybe it would smell a lot like many other fragrances, that I already own. The soapiest being like a Duc de Vervins or maybe even like a Caesar's Drakkar. But this one really has that spice, and that patchouli really, really sticks out. So, I think this is definitely a cooler weather scent too. In the heat, this would be a little bit cloying. So this is going to be your fall, your winter, your early spring. That's when you're going to get the best wear time for this. Otherwise, it's just going to be a little bit overwhelming. But I think it's relatively versatile in terms of work, going out. Not a nightclub, but I would say maybe like a bar or lounge or something like that would be a good spot to wear this. I think it's definitely wearable. And age range, I would say... again, if you have a nose for the classics, you can wear anything you like anytime, but I would imagine 28 and up would probably appreciate this a little bit more than, say, the average, 18, 19, 20-year-old. So this is a really, really cool scent. I'm really glad I have it, and I'm glad that I could put it into my collection. The only other product that I found to match this one was an aftershave, and it's on eBay, and I haven't quite gotten around to picking it up yet. I do want to get that one, though, and I've searched for anything else, couldn't find anything. This is the only one. And I have a question for the subscribers that know about this fragrance. So there's a Derrick Black, and then I've seen a Derrick Gold, Derrick Silver. Not interested in the gold or the silver. That just sounds like some, like cheesy flanker that came out recently. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. I'm judging ahead of time without smelling, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that. But I couldn't, and then I saw Derrick, so I don't know if this is the original Derrick or Derrick Black, but they all look the same, and I believe this is the original one, in terms of the scent. But if there's a difference between Derrick and Derrick Black, somebody please let me know, because I want to make sure that I'm reviewing the right thing. But I believe this is Derrick, this is the original, or that Derrick Black is another name for the original, I think. Not sure, though. So, anyway, I'm going to give my overall rating for Derrick by Orlane. Presentation is kind of interesting. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The bottle's kind of goofy, but I do like it. I think it would look cool. Maybe I wish it wasn't so angular with the cap because I don't know if it's going to look as nice, say, if it were just like straight up square. But anyway, it's an interesting, so I'm going to give that one an interesting presentation. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. The performance is absolutely incredible. That's going to get a 10 out of 10. There's no question. 10 hours. Blows a lot of scents that I have out of the water that are supposed powerhouse ones. This performs like a monster. And the smell, I love it. I probably would give it a little bit of a higher score if it didn't remind me of 2 other fragrances, both of which I had. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 as far as the smell goes. But it's still an amazing spicy, soapy, clean scent. It's very masculine. I really like that, and it's got that classic vibe to it. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 overall. Derrick by Orlane. If any of you guys have tried the scent or know anything about it, can answer some of the questions I might have, by all means, let me know in the comments section, and make sure to like and subscribe. If the channel's growing, it's great to see a lot of support for the classic style fragrances that are out there. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.